So just a couple minutes ago, we passed the T+4 hour mark in the SpaceX NASA Demonstration 2 or Demo 2 mission. If you've been with us this entire time, thank you for tuning in. It has been a super eventful day. On-time liftoff from Cape Canaveral with Baba and Doug on board, and everything was a super clean ascent and liftoff. Super clean ascent and stage separation, as well as Dragon separation. And now Bob and Doug are in low Earth orbit, and they're going to be moving into what's known as pre-sleep. But that is basically an opportunity for them to wind down before it's time for them to actually go to bed. But there's something that I personally am really excited about on this particular mission. So for those of you that don't know, Doug Hurley was the pilot of the final space shuttle mission, STS-135, and that was back in 2011. So when I found out that Doug was assigned to Demo 2, I was ecstatic because I was so excited at the opportunity that we could return Doug to the space station on the first commercial crew mission. And I have just been elated with seeing him and Bob up in space, having a great time, as we have seen.
Who can blame them? I don't know. Can you have a bad time, when you're in a brand new spacecraft heading to space? I don't know.
Hopefully not. I'm not very good with G-forces, though, so I feel like I personally might have a bad time in space, but that's just me.
You're right. I've had some strange moments on roller coasters.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, like you mentioned, pretty amazing that Doug was on that last flight and is now on this first flight back. It's like the end of a chapter and the beginning of a chapter. Usually you see the beginning of a chapter and the end, but he was on the tail end and now the brand new beginning. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And as we've said multiple times, Bob and Doug are test pilots. This particular mission is the type of thing that test pilots live for. The last time that America had a new space vehicle to test was 1981 with the first space shuttle. So it's been a hot second or two since we've been able to recruit some very willing and excitable test pilots to test out new hardware. And so far, this particular mission, our Crew Demo 2 mission, has been going spectacularly. Everything's still looking nominal with Dragon, as Bob and Doug are working towards their pre-sleep routine.
Yeah, just getting ready for bed, kind of like we do here on Earth. I will tell you a fun fact about when astronauts brush their teeth in space. They can use edible toothpaste because they don't have a sink, and
of
so
course,
they actually have edible toothpaste that if they want to, they can just swallow the toothpaste. They can also spit it out if they need to, but just a fun space fact,
Yeah, it's always really interesting to compare what normal life is like on Earth to what life in space is like. And something that continues to fascinate me is the fact that a lot of the work that's being done on the International Space Station, a lot of the research, the experiments, it's not all focused just on exploring outer space. A lot of it is actually focused on making life better for us earthbound humans as well. Whenever I try to educate people about what is going on in the space, and I like to use the analogy of eye pressure. So standing on planet Earth, we have gravity, and there is gravity pulling your fluids down towards your feet. But in space, there is not gravity, so those fluids in your body have an opportunity to reach an equilibrium, which basically means that you might have a little bit more pressure in your head because your fluids, your blood is not being pulled down towards your feet. And so that means that a little bit of increased pressure might change the shape of your eyeball in space, which means that your vision changes. And that, might seem kind of a stretch, but when you think about patients in hospitals or long-term care facilities that are unable to get out of bed, they definitely incur some of the same symptoms there because their fluids reach an equilibrium as they're laying down all the time. So really the research that's just one example of some of the research that's done on vision changes due to fluid pressure in the cranial in your brain, how that impacts your eye vision, and the fact that that is 100% applicable to people on Earth. I think that that's